All right. Hey, it is slightly afternoon here on the East Coast. A little chilly. Apparently, it's going to get a lot more chilly over the weekend. But hey, we'll do with what we have right now. I'm Brent Leary. As soon as I said that, a little ding went off of my ears because somebody just sent me a text. I thought it was kind of cool, but you guys didn't hear the coolness. So anyway, we'll just keep moving on. So yes, this is Small Biz Breakdown. Every Friday, a group of us get together and just talk about stuff. You never know what we're going to talk about. Sometimes we think we know, but we really don't. And it's just sort of unfurls and go wherever we need to go because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, particularly when it pertains to small business. So, as I usually do at this time, I like to introduce the folks, as I like to call them. And we always start off as far west as we can. And that brings us to Leland from Oregon. Hey, Leland.
Hey, Brent. Good to be here. It's chilly over here. It's a nice, and it's good to be Friday. I'm looking forward to it. It's date night with the wife. She just had her birthday a little while ago, so we're gonna go out and make her feel special.
That's cool. I like that. Date night, is it going to be like, because here in Atlanta it's supposed to be 15 degrees. Are you guys getting that low?
Oh no. We're high 30s. It'll probably get to mid 40s today.
Oh, today's fine. We'll get to the 50s. It's tomorrow and Sunday that I'm worried about. But anyway, I digress.
No, we're too far away from all of that. You could have it. You could keep it.
I'd like to pass it along, but here we go. Speed of passing along. Now, usually over the last several weeks, we've been making a little stop in Gary, Indiana. Pierre is not with us just yet. I think he's going to be coming when he can. So we will circle back to him when he gets here. But for now, we go to that mystical, magical place we like to call Medina, where one Evna Taylor resides. Hello, Evna.
Hi, I'm feeling like I was looking at myself in the mirror and I feel like I look like Velma from Scooby-Doo today.
Well, gee, Scoops. No, I shouldn't do that.
I've got the glasses, I've got the hair, and I've got the sweater.
You kind of do. Although I think you need like an orange sweater, isn't it?
I should have worn, I have that like reddish sweater. I should have worn that, but
something this color.
Yeah, we are freezing. Oh, it has gone up. We started at -3 this morning and we are up to 12 right now. It is sunny. It is gorgeous. And even at 12 degrees, I see like icicles dripping. So like with the sun on it, it's kind of like.
The fact that you're so cheerful and it was -12 degrees, that says a lot about you.
It was -3. I'm one of the weird people. You will never hear me complaining about the weather in Cleveland. I love it. I love all the variation. I love the surprises. And a day like today, when the snow is on the ground early in the morning and there's still like, let's say a little overnight flurry or something, it is like this fluffy silence. When you stick fluffy silence. It's like insulated. It's hard to explain, but I absolutely love it.
Let's see if our friend in our nation's capital could explain or define what fluffy science is. Fluffy science. Did I just say fluffy? Fluffy silence is. Although Mr. Smile, he'll probably be giving us a ChatGPT kind of. No, I'm just kidding. This is the one and only Shashi Belamkanda. Hey, Shashi.
Hey everyone, Brent, Leland, Ivana. Yeah, we're freezing here. It's totally white and nobody's gone out of their houses for almost a week now. But we are cheerful. Thank you for work from home. But I think small businesses are hurting a little bit because nobody's going out.
That's true, especially in Minneapolis, where the one and only Prince came from. Just thought I'd say that. All right, well, we'll get back to Mr. Smile. Even in these cold weathers, he's still smiling, which is always a good thing. Now let's traverse our way all the way over to the other side of the country, where we go to the vacation capital of the universe. I think that's what it is. It is the one and only Ramon Ray.
Close, Brent, but I'll take that. Vacation capital of the world. Good to be here. And Brent, I'm trying to be the happy one. I love coming to the show, but what just bothered me, you and Evan are going on for like 45 minutes about, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my God, I have my cup of tea. You have a nice sweater. Oh, look at your glasses. You have other people. I mean, forget Shashi. You could have left him last, and he could have came on like 2 minutes before we had left. But me anyhow, you get my point, Brent. It was just a little frustrating, but it's good to be here. A lot to talk about. Some of it I put in our private chat earlier.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes.
Hey, Brent.
Good to be here, Brent. Hey, Shashi. Hey, Leland. Hey.
I want to change the name of New Jersey because we were driving last weekend. It is the truck capital of the world because there are so many trucks and very less cars on the NJ Turnpike. So
that's because of the mineral resources we have. That's a lot of the trucks are coming and exporting. I can't even go on. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah.
Please.
We love those mineral resources, by the way. Anyway, let's also say hello to somebody we haven't seen for a little bit. Amber. Hey, Amber.
Hey, Amber.
Good to see you.
Hey, girlfriend.
All right. Good to see you. Glad that you joined us. All right. And we'll keep the light on for Pierre. Maybe he's digging out of something because it's going to be cold there too. Let's figure it out. Anyway, it is the last Friday in January. Doesn't it feel like so much went on this month that it should be the last Friday in like, I don't know, June or something? Because it feels like a hell of a lot is going on. So I'm going back to our roots. I'm going to start like I usually started, like for a solid year before somehow, some way, you guys threw me off track. I'm not letting you do that again. So, how do you feel about things right now? Leland, how do you feel about things right now?
Pretty good. Consumer confidence within the was it the NFIB? Yeah, NFIB did their consumer or their small business confidence, and it went up 0.5. It's at 99.5, which is above the 98 score that has kind of been typical for the last 50 years. So when it comes to small businesses, they're optimistic. They're still a little worried about like taxes and tariffs, but overall, optimism is good. And small businesses are thriving a little bit, even in uncertainty. But I feel a little bit good.
All right, I'm just gonna have to throw a little. Apparently, it's gonna be ice water or maybe just icicles. Okay. I saw where U.S. consumer confidence is down to where it was last 12 years ago. So there's something going on between the small business people and the consumers because that ain't matching up. But anyway, I digress. Who wants to go next, Ramon? I can see you kind of itching.
I'm happy to always. Listen, I think for me personally, the Ramon Ray Inc. ecosystem is doing well. As I've shared with you all very transparently, it's been a rough few years for me, but as I sit here at the end of January, I'm doing well. I see a lot of progress and hope on the horizon. Talking about everybody in general, as we all, see our own lens. It seems like the economy is puttering along. Just saw something about Facebook and AI. We can touch on that later in the show if we want. But the point is that it seems like things are not dropping. There's no alarm bells, things of that nature. Unless, of course, as you talked about, putting ice in the cups and things of this nature. But beyond that, I think that things are puttering along economically. So I am well. And it seems like the country, we have the sight to be seen, but nothing dramatic's happening. Stock market's doing okay. Facebook's doing, FANG's doing okay. So we're good.
I like the term economically puttering.
Yeah.
It's a good one. All right. Who wants to go next?
Nice to see such positive people here. I'm usually the positive one, but I think Wall Street is not the economy, and Wall Street is doing pretty well. So small business owners who have stock, which is, I think, 63% of the US has stock. So they're probably not feeling really bad. But people have stopped spending as much. I've heard that recruitment is actually they're finding it very difficult to recruit. And I think this may be more in the healthcare and the services sector, right? So I don't know which index to follow to actually see how happy small business owners are. Like I was just saying, I think restaurants are probably hurting. They had to close because of the winter weather, but it's a very small section. It's not long term. Prices, I think if we can keep inflation down, probably consumers and small businesses will be happy.
All right. I kind of like that. Oh, I'll hold off on that a minute. Let's hear how things are going with Even and Magical Mystical Medina.
Hey, they are still building our hotel, our little businesses in town. That is what gives me optimism, is when even in temperatures like this, people are going about their business, they are shopping, they are eating, and they are spending with the small businesses in our town. On the other hand, I've been in communication with my email community, and I've noticed that several people have closed their businesses.
Oh.
So that made me sad. What else did I see? I saw a figure that said 91, I got this number wrong, 91,000 women have left the workforce, something like that. I don't know where I saw this, but I'm seeing these numbers, and so what, the dollar is at its lowest in 11 years, which get this, the dollar is at its lowest in 11 years, and our trade deficit is bigger than it was. So I all I can say to all you people is that I am just like generally confused.
I don't think you're alone in that. I think a lot of us are generally. I like these. You guys always come up with these little catchphrases that I could use, like generally confused, economically puttering. Leland, I'm going to have to get you to come up with something before the end of the show, and Shashi, you too.
All right, I'll do my best.
And last but certainly not least, he has made it right from the heartland. He is the one and only. I call him Pierre because I don't want to mess up his last name again. There's a 50-50 chance I'm going to mess it up. So I'm going to leave it alone.
Well, I'd be upset, but then I would put me in good company with W.B. Du Bois. So I'm going to roll with.
Is that the way I should?
I say Du Bois, so that's
okay.
Fine.
I'm just going to start calling you W.E.P. Du Bois or something like that.
Like Pierre is Du Bois. Get it?
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Thank you, Una. That's a good way to remember it. Pierre Du Bois. I added the S. I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Anyway, how are you feeling about things this week? And we'll take it from there.
Ooh, I'm going to go with the. I'm going to go with a little bit. I would say feeling confused, but also okay with it. Here's why. We have our economy. A lot of times people talk about the stock market and the idea that if the stock market is doing well, then these our large box companies, our large enterprises are doing well, and sometimes that impacts smaller businesses that are vendors to those companies as well. I do think the ones that don't quite have that arrangement still are cautious, and I think that's okay to have both. I think both things going on is understandable. We have a large company with a large country with a lot of different dynamics economically, locally that play out. Even today in LA, they're doing the shutdown in protest to ICE, and there's businesses that have joined in on that in the same vein that they did in Minnesota. And they're doing that to say to their local economy that, hey, we are standing up for something. The fact that people can do that, I think, is saying something about the confidence of the fact that small businesses are doing it is saying something about the confidence of those business owners, as well as making a social statement. And I think it's okay if you're sitting in your corner of the world and feeling like, well, with all this going on, I still don't know what's going on in my industry. Because I think between all the anxiety with AI, all the anxiety with tariffs, business people will always look for what the angle is that's supposed to be happening or the outcome. And we still haven't seen a full impact in some of these situations as yet. So I think it's okay to feel cautious and a little bit concerned.
Hey, Pierre, I just want to add one thing if I can, Brent. I think I get your point about people taking off, and that could be because they have confidence in the economy. And by the way, good to have you here. Always love you joining. But I would just counterpoint on that, as it were. I think some things, are so egregious by some that even if they don't have 2 pennies to, put between their fingers, they will still lose the money. So I hear your point. I love the insight, but I just think that not sure if I'd let that go. Like, hey, the economy's doing well because people are demonstrating taking time off. I like it. But I don't know if that's a strong enough reason. It could be just people are pissed off, angry, whatever, and they're like, no matter what we lose, this is important unless we're taking it off. So.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. I'm not suggesting that. Oh, they feel like, oh, I can take off and there's a luxury to it. There's people who have things at risk by doing that. And I think that's but I think for business owners, we always feel like we're at risk economically every day.
Because in that case, I would take off because taxes are too high. I'd take off for the whole next 5 years. Trust me on that if I could, but I can't.
All righty then. Before we get going, let me say, thanks for the Rams house, Sean.
Hey, did you get Leland?
Yeah. You just weren't listening, even. Sorry that.
I'm sorry, mine was so boring that it just glossed over.
All right, and Amber says this month is an introduction to real America. Now that could be a topic for a whole other show. We'll just keep moving on, but we could get real. All right. So I saw a stat on something. I want to make sure I've got visuals here around AI. Well, of course, what else? Can't get away from this stuff. Is the AI boom a bubble, and will it pop in 2026? Are you surprised by the numbers that basically, if you add up the two that says it is a bubble and will pop either this year or I guess next year, is over now? The folks who say it's not a bubble. First of all, let me ask: do each of you think it's a bubble? Yes or no? And if you do think it's a bubble, it's going to happen this year. So, Ramon, what's your answer to all that stuff?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bubble. I think it's real, but I think that over the time, the temperature will be going down. So again, other people, Shasha, others, you can, what that means bubble or not, I'm not sure, but I think it's not a bubble. It's a real thing. Things are going to be built. People are going to be hired. People are going to be fired. It's real. But I do think that it'll be toned down. Like we no longer say, hey, I'm on the World Wide Web. We no longer say, the things we say. It's inculcated into the culture of society.
Shashi?
Yeah, if you look at this, like the top two boxes are almost 55%, right? I think there's a lot of impatience now. There was, when ChatGPT came in, the expectation that it'll do everything was very high. But successful projects have been very low, meaning people are investing a lot. In fact, you see there's a little bit confusion in the market about what AI can actually do. I actually posted on LinkedIn that 55% of Americans are using artificial intelligence, but only 10% are using it at work. What this means is they clearly don't know how it is going to be. So there's a lack of education in the market that leads to people thinking that AI is a bubble. Whether it'll happen in 2026 or not, I think you have to be a little cautious about how you're positioning it. Like, it's not going to do everything. Customer success, excellent case studies of how AI agents are helping reduce hold time for customers. Most companies will tell you it's not about replacing people, but it's about making the experience much better. But if people think like there'll be one person, Ramon Ray in New Jersey, creating the next Salesforce, probably not going to happen.
Let me jump in just for a quick second, because when you said the stuff about it replacing, it won't replace people, or thinking, yeah. Two things came out just which were like, okay. well, maybe two days ago, Amazon made this huge announcement about 16,000 people being basically let go. That was day one. And then the very next day, which I believe was yesterday, they announced a $50 billion investment in OpenAI. So it's like you cut 16,000 people, which means you're going to save lots of money. And then you commit to $50 billion to OpenAI, which is like, everybody keeps saying we're not cutting people to do AI, but at least the appearance of it. You let 16,000 folks go, and then you invest $50 billion in OpenAI the very next day. Are these companies actually hurting the whole idea that AI is not meant to replace, but is supposed to assist? When you hear stuff like that happen, like day one, we're letting 16,000 people go. Day two, we're investing $50 billion in AI, basically. How does that, what was that phrase even that you used about confusion? Doesn't that kind of create confusion when you hear that kind of stuff?
You have to take these in two separate buckets. The reason being they recruited, like the amount of levels that most of these big companies did in just after the pandemic or during the pandemic. I don't think it's related to AI, but they are definitely reducing the number of layers that they have. So I would think about their investment in totally. They had to invest in OpenAI because everybody is invested in Anthropic. They don't know if OpenAI is going to be much better than Anthropic, and both of them are going towards an IPO. You also heard about Zoom investing in OpenAI, and now
everybody is, right? I mean, everybody.
No, but Zoom invested, and their whole balance sheet, if I remember my figures right, their whole share value or the capital is gone up because of OpenAI's valuation.
And to that point, Shashi, can I just add something else? I mean, I just heard this on Fox Business, which I know y'all listen to, especially Brent and Ivana. But point being is that can we give kudos to Facebook? They're saying, and I've heard this before, so I think it's true. You heard it twice in the headline that Amazon is leveraging, Facebook is leveraging AI more and more to help ads be better. I'm not sure if even is hearing that on the street, all that. But my point is that to me is that's gangsta game changer right there. Amazon's using it. They're making more money. Great. Make all the money you want. But they're showing a dramatic increase. When I spend my $100 a month or $10,000 a month in an ad, my ad is optimized and I'm making money too. If that's how you're using AI, I'm all for it. So I think that's one example. I heard it months ago, and now we're hearing it again. Clearly, that's how a company is making things better. So, hey, if United Airlines can make me that AI knows where I'm at, knows there's a delay, know the weather is doing it. It told me it connected me already to Uber because you already knew I booked it and told my driver to be rerouted. Done. That's the kind of thing I want to see all day long.
All right. Even I'm going to need you to keep me honest here, because you are like the North Star when it comes to, you guys are just talking way too much about things that aren't important to the So keep me honest as I go through this, because Ramon kind of opened the door, and I want to get everybody in on this, but Ramon kind of opened the door when he talked about Meta, because absolutely. And first of all, shout out to Keith Townsend. Thanks for joining us and bringing some really good stuff here. The whole point of the cuts is to invest in AI. I mean, it's kind of hard not to think that way when you see them lay off 16,000 people on one day and then invest in OpenAI $50 billion the next day. So it's kind of hard, even if, Shashi, I believe everything you said, but it's the appearance. People say, why are they letting 16,000 people go if they can invest 50 billion in open? I mean, it just, the appearance doesn't look good. But getting back to what Ramon talked about with Meta, the same night that they announced their quarterly earnings, I believe it was like Wednesday night, Microsoft announced, ServiceNow announced, a whole host of them. Meta was the only one that just skyrocketed. Their price went up like 10%. Microsoft down 12%. ServiceNow down 12%. I looked at some other companies the next day, like HubSpot down 12%. Adobe down 8%. ServiceNow, they got killed like 12, 13. SAP was down 15%. It was all, I was like, well, I asked Gemini, well, why is like Meta doing so great on their announcements? Because they all beat, they beat at the revenue, they beat at the income, they all beat. So I asked Gemini, why is Meta going crazy, and why are like companies like Microsoft and ServiceNow getting killed? Guess what they said? So this is what Gemini said about why Meta did so well. So at the time, they were up 10% after hours after they closed and announced they have some, they massive guidance speed, all that kind of stuff. But I highlighted the third one there, AI monetization. And what Ramon said just rang a bell to what Gemini said. AI monetization is real. Unlike its peers, Meta is proving that its massive AI spending is driving immediate results in its core ad business. Ad revenue was up 24%. So they were able to tie their investment to actual monetization, actual ROI, not in the future, but now. So they got awarded for it. Now let's look and see what it said about why Microsoft was down. It was down after our 6%. It went down the next day 10%. So it was down a full 10% overnight. Now, I'm just going to focus on the highlighted areas. Open AI risk. Analysts noted that 45% of Microsoft's $625 billion backlog is tied to who? OpenAI.
OpenAI.
45%. That's a lot. 45% of 600. We're almost talking like $320 billion, something like that, tied to one company. And then that last bullet point: investors are starting to question when the AI payoff will finally outpace the AI spending. Now, notice Meta, they're already making money off of this stuff. Most of these other companies, they're hoping to make money out into the future. ServiceNow is just another company that's an enterprise application platform. I'll just go right to them. They got killed too. There is a persistent market fear that AI efficiency will lead to fewer seats. So all these companies, and I'm not picking out anybody in particular, except you got to applaud Meta, because they've done something that a lot of these companies have not been able to do. They're actually making money off of their AI investments right now, where all the other ones, and it's like billions upon billions, and they're all going to one or two companies. So there's a lot of, what was that term you used again, Ivana?
I used it confusion, but I have a question, because here's what popped up for me, because I've been looking at some stats as well, not the ones you've been looking at, but when you showed the Facebook one, and you said it's because ad revenue is up 24%. That immediately made me ask the question, why is ad revenue up? Why is it up? Because there is another statistic that I've been looking at, which is all other engagement and conversions are down. Used to be that you would sell through your email. I'm talking about small businesses now. And heck, even larger ones, right? They have ginormous email lists. Email, and of course, Constant Contact consistently does a study that tells you email is awesome, but I can tell you those ROIs have been coming down. Who doesn't remember when the ROI for email was like $44 per email? Now it's down to 36, might even be down to 34. Last time I looked, it was 36. I'm noticing it. I'm noticing it in my engagement on LinkedIn, meaning like when I'm actually DMing people who I know, like people, I don't know how to say it. People I'm connected to and asking them actual questions, no pitching, no nothing. That engagement is down. And I ask myself, why is that down? When I say down, I mean, I used to get a response like within a few hours, maybe 24 hours. That's up to like 48 hours sometimes. Why?
Sorry, Ivana.
Oh, not you.
Josh is taking direct responsibility.
I'm talking like DMs, right? Like I'm asking you a question or something like that. So I think the thing to ask is, what's behind these things?
AI slop. AI slop is behind these things. People are using AI to create junk that we really don't even need. And it's coming at us so fast that it's hard to find the good stuff when everything is coming at you so quick, and it seems to be getting more and quicker than like the next day.
I just see Facebook to I think Ramon's point. I just see Facebook ad spending is up. Lots of people are on Facebook. People that used to spend $100,000 a month, I know are now up to $200,000 a month. It's just in marketing in general, it's taking twice the effort. It's kind of like inflation, kind of like everything, right? Like you need more to get what you got. Before.
But see, that sounds a little. Please, I'll just say this, and I'll get out of your guys' way. That's not the way it's supposed to work, though, is it? It's supposed to be able to use this stuff and be more efficient and effective. That's what they tell us. But what you just said is that ain't what's happening at all. It's actually getting harder and harder to get to the people, and takes more time to get to the people. That's like the reverse of what this stuff that what they tell us is supposed to be like, right?
Yeah, but I think part of it too is that I think a lot of people, when it comes to AI, there's a lot of people who are thinking, to what you said earlier, Brett, they are throwing content out there. It's what they're used to. It's almost like, we've had almost 20 years of social media. We've had the advertising messaging about, create some content, create ads, create memes, create videos, create short videos, long videos, and everything in between, basically. And I think what AI is allowing us to do is to create this, it should be making us more efficient. Don't get me wrong. And there are things that are coming when you talk about MCP and the idea of agents using tools. But I think the default that people fall to is this sort of, I'm just going to create content and I can now create more of it. But they don't realize that the more you make of something, the less efficient you're becoming in the process. And I think that's part of the bubble dynamic that's going on. We've thrown AI at people and say, hey, here's some tools for you. But the default that sometimes people are now turning to may be things that are familiar to them. And I think part of that becomes throwing a lot of content in some instances. And maybe not without a lot of planning, and definitely not without a lot of analytics behind it.
Actually, Ramon Ray was very soft-spoken when he started this discussion, and we totally forgot about what he wanted to say. Like,
no, you go ahead, Chuck. No, we're on the same track. Go ahead. We're good.
Meta has one of the best AI for the last 10, 15 years, because that's how they make their money for advertising. When I'm on Facebook, I don't see any ad that I shouldn't be seeing. It's very targeted, B2B, and I see Ramon Ray a lot, which actually means like Facebook knows not only what I'm doing on Facebook, but it knows what I'm doing on the entire web, right? So they are monetizing that very well. To Ivana's point, when that is working, why would I spend my money elsewhere in marketing campaigns which are not working? And I'll double down on this. Now, Brent, you made a point that this is totally like, even though they've been doing it for 15 years, now they're saying like, hey, our AI is producing a lot of revenue. So everybody's saying, buy Meta, right? I actually have a disclaimer. I actually get paid by Meta, $7 a month for being a creator.
Wow, man, when are you going to retire off of that?
But I want to say another thing also. Like Meta failed miserably in messaging the kind of AI that they have. Like they had one of the best open source models. They don't know how to do enterprise, so that's why you don't see them. And maybe they don't want to do enterprise because they get enough money from this billions of people everywhere. So my money would be even small businesses. If your targeting is working very well in Google and Facebook, invest there, because the other channels aren't really working well. It'll probably take at least a year or two for you to figure out what you need to do to get better at organic conversions, right?
I think that it's
I was just saying, I love that, Josh, and I was going to introduce you, Leland. Please, I'll go last, please.
Yeah, the best for last. I think it's an element of what to use AI for. It's like you got these companies like Adobe and Microsoft, and they're making AI that is sold as a product. I'm going to sell you the use of AI as a product, as an addition to whatever. It's like I'm going to stuff it into Windows. I'm going to put it into Photoshop. I'm going to put it into all of these programs. And then I have to justify price increases or additions or something like that. And that's going to be hard for the consumer to take on. And so finding that element to like charge more to get money in back from this investment, it's a difficult thing to envision at the moment. Whereas Facebook's taking a different approach. It's not necessarily like we're selling you AI, we're using AI to make our product better. You're going to get better results, and as a result, you're going to spend more money with us, and you're going to be able to use AI to make the ads. So you're going to be spending less time finding your audience. You're going to be spending less time making the ads, and that's a huge boom for you. So spend more money with us, and it works, and they're seeing that, and so that's I think the difference in the way that AI is being invested. When it comes to Amazon, I wouldn't necessarily say that their investment is solely for replacing their workforce. I would imagine that they're like, hey, I want to integrate this into AWS. And so if all of a sudden they're able to justify, they're able to sell it off, you're spinning up an instance of ChatGPT, or they're just integrating it into their image creation or audio creation or something like that, then that's a product that they can sell that actually people will probably buy. That's my guess. But that's my 2 cents. Ramon,
no, Leland,
floor is yours.
Back to Brent. I just wanted to welcome Tony and Divina, who are coming from Ramon Ray's side of the audience. Thanks for being here. I didn't see anybody from IG, from Shachi. That's okay. But anyways, thank you, Facebook crew from Ramon Ray, who's out in force. Back to you, Brent.
Yeah, shout out to Tony. Actually, this might be a question to Divina you might want to tackle. She says, email marketing is used for converting a business biggest fans. So are they not signing up anymore or not opening the emails?
I'm just going to talk about what I have seen, Tony. I encourage you to talk to other marketing people and other experts, like you got your Ramon and your Shashi, and you just like all the people, talk to them and ask this question. What I've been seeing is people are signing up. People are opening. I am getting the biggest, best open rates I have had in years. And what they're not doing is putting their credit cards in. And all this, and this is a way, and I actually have been, you need to know that when, let's see, if I'm doing analysis on these things, and I'm using AI to assist me with this analysis of the emails and where did it hit the wall, right? Where did it not meet the milestone? It's not because open rates are good, it's not the subject line. It's the clicking and converting. So when there is something happening with people, so you're going to have to work much, much harder to understand your audience and to understand what their core needs are and what they value.
That sounds like a great job for AI to help do all of that.
I'm going to let other people talk. But this thing with AI, I just got to say, AI is not thinking. AI is just statistically generating what's already out there, right? So you've got to get that information in front of you. You have got to know your craft, and you have got to make that call.
But Shashi, what you talked about Facebook and how they use AI, it sounds like they're actually doing that. So how do small businesses get the ability to do that kind of stuff? Because Ivana is saying it's not doing it, at least not.
You have to know your stuff. You got to give it good content. I mean, does anyone know? I mean, Pierre, you're like really nodding.
Yeah.
I myself have not placed multiple ads on Facebook since this AI thing has happened? I mean, has anyone?
The most important thing for your customers to do is they have to interact with you digitally. That's the only way signal that it knows. Like, for example, when I tell you I'm getting these ads, is because I visited the websites of these people or clicked on a post that mentioned these. So they should not stop all their digital efforts and say we're only going to do Facebook advertising. They have to say who they are, location, use Facebook location signals, create a Facebook location page, and things like that will help. It won't be in isolation. Go ahead, Ramon, you were saying something.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, even to answer your question about the AI use and all that, I do think there's a digital divide. And again, just to acknowledge for the audience here, it's my microcosm, my version of the world, what I'm seeing. So full disclosure, I don't have any stats behind it. But I do think that for the smaller businesses, AI is still a powerful tool, chat-based, meaning asking questions, getting insight. But I think you kind of hinted at, even, I think you did, or somebody's asking, I think to get to the level of what Facebook is doing or Amazon, I do think that takes some spending, some geeks got to be behind it or know it. Yeah, we can all play with, Notebook or all the fancy things. But my point being, it's great. AI is great for those of us and asking questions and putting your whole database in there and all that stuff. But to get to the level of, hey, I'm using it, it's transforming my business, it does still take some time and some geeks and a little bit of Leland people, who know how to connect the dots and do this. And that's what it takes. I've tried it. The whole thing where it's like John Lawson showed, it's getting into your computer and all that, whatever it is. These things are doable. But I think for the average small business of the florist, she's not going to be able to integrate AI into her whole system. But as we talked before, that's where the brands we use, Salesforce, Zoho, QuickBooks, as they integrate it in there, see that nod, Leland? So we don't have to see it, or as we're acknowledging Facebook is doing, that's the win.
Yeah, I think one thing too also that may be helping on Meta in some ways too is that it's familiarity. We tend to forget that social media has been around for a minute. Yes, they have Meta AI. And I think for small business owners, if you're trying to get certain things done, the platforms you turn to need to be some consistency and not just features or just in terms of you don't feel like there's a lot of friction going on. Like Claude, for example, I was in a chat clubhouse room the other day, and we were talking about how there's now friction in using just Claude. There's now these restrictions on how much you can use, and they say, hey, you've used up Claude for your in your 5 hours. Wait till the next refresh. And you're sitting here thinking, I'm spending if I'm spending $20, I got to now spend $100 to get past that. Things from Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and, even Facebook itself, it may be a different use, but people are familiar with the idea of I can run an ad and play to my audience. So I think there may be a comfort level there as well that Meta has been able to kind of leverage, plus the fact that while they are entering AI, and yes, they are issuing AI models, it's not the same. They're not distracted in the same way as Google, which is fighting for AI dominance and trying to keep their search going against, say, OpenAI or something like that, where people are using it as an answer engine and Google has to respond. So some of that plays into a little bit, I think, in terms of where we are right now and what technology we're turning to and what's benefiting for us. And for small business owners, if I need napkins, if I'm a restaurant owner and I need napkins, I'm going to turn to the company who I know I can get the napkins overnight so I can serve my customers and have that available for them.
So are you guys, not just you, but just generally speaking, when you think of small businesses, are you thinking that small businesses are curious or turning to AI for more of the front end of their business, meaning finding customers, engagement, all that kind of stuff, or from an operational side of using it to be more efficient to do the stuff that they need done, but they might not necessarily want to do it, or stuff that's very time consuming and keeps them from doing the things? What are you thinking they're looking for AI to do for them?
I think customer interactions, whether you're a restaurant, you had to wait in line and, wait for the other person and they didn't have enough people to take care of rush hour. Now it's a little bit more easier. It may not always be AI, but at least it's easier to use technology to place an order. The same way with calls, right? instead of your customer being on hold, at least there is a way to have a agent on the phone, which is AI, that answers at least the questions, so that it frees you up. Like it can ask you about all the information, saves times on the calls. I think those are the kind of things that have succeeded. It's not that people are not trying. Back of the house, I think spreadsheet should be dead soon, and AI can do whatever.
I like Tony's answer. That's exact. There are a lot of hucksters saying a lot of stuff there, Tony, that they're selling a bunch of air. I'm glad that you came out and said it, because I see a lot of that instead of what they should learn enough to know how it can impact them beyond what the experts tell them. Because these folks aren't all experts. Let's put it like that. Everybody who says they're an expert or a coach, I actually question those folks, because the folks that are really experts, they ain't saying themselves they're experts. Other people are saying, you need to talk to that guy or that lady right there. But when somebody comes out and calls himself that, I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that, Shashi.
No, I think I said front of the house, how to get better customer experience, and back of the house, tasks that were too difficult for people to do. How can you have tools that can help you?
I think people are still relying on the tried and true. Provide good service, be recommendable, word of mouth, be out there on your social media channels. And yeah, I would say probably utilizing AI to help write social media posts, or maybe even, I know that you hate it, it's slop, but generating an AI image, that's where I see a lot of small businesses using it, not necessarily in like their, unless it is built into their system, like they're using Salesforce or they're using Zoho, and they're utilizing the AI that's in it. I doubt that they're going out and like hunting down a specific AI tool or something like that to generate leads or something like that. At least just in my case, from what I'm seeing, it's just, the tried and true, just going out there, being present, and being a good business so that people recommend you.
And Leland, let me just tell you the part about the AI images. I know you asked all of us, you were asking my opinion about the law and what should be banned globally around the world. I'll tell you right now, since you asked, it's okay, Leland, for people to do AI images. No problem.
Yeah.
Even I can take AI slop. It's slop. It's done. But what I don't like, let's say the 6 of us are invited to an event or whatever it is. I'm lazy. Hey, AI, go look for Brent and all of our faces, generate me a collage of the speakers, and I post that crap. That pisses me. That makes me angry. It's not even a representation. It's doing its best to mimic a Brent or even a. So that's the small slice. Just ask me for my photo and I'll send it to you. If you want to enhance it, add some pop, like Canva color and all that too, whatever, I got it. But that's happened to me twice over the past, few days, because I fly around the world. I speak a lot in the private jets, and I'm the best speakers in the world. I'm just messing with y'all, throwing in nonsense. But the point seriously is that the event producers, they gave me an AI generated image, and I'm like, for this kind of event, you're gonna make an image? Just let me send you my professional shot. So you get what I'm trying to say. I had some fun there, but
oh no, I have no problem with AI generated images. I use them on small business trends. I'm actually liking them a lot more because I can actually get something extremely specific. And so it's like my example is like I'm, paperwork for franchises. You can't find a guy in a McDonald's costume filling out paperwork or something like that that's a manager on stock photos. Yeah. But you sure as heck can get AI to generate an image that will tailor right for that. And the best thing at the end of it, I don't have some photographer going, hey, you're using my image, right, and you don't have permission. No, I bought it, and now I have to spend an hour to go and hunt down the license and send it to you so you won't sue me. Yeah. My rant, sorry.
And I think that's a healthy rant. And I'm hoping I can build on the points that were raised too. I think I think for small businesses, there's a tendency to think, we're still at that stage. They're still at that stage of how do I use a prompt? But at the same time, AI is looking at, again, MCP. They're looking at tools and looking at how agents can interact with tools. And I think there's sort of there's always been this dynamic where business owners tend to look at the very immediate thing, but not the strategic thing that allows them to kind of be much more productive, which to Brent's way earlier point about productivity, I think that part is that's what we should be driving towards, but there's always a little bit of wheel spin to get there, which leads to, I like Ramon's point about, taking the image and kind of, doctoring and that type of thing. And yes, I get pissed when I see people do that stuff. But I think part of that stuff that happens is because we got so much wheel spin going on right now with business owners on what to do with AI. They've been told for the last 2 years, get to AI, use AI, Gemini, open ChatGPT, Claude, and everything else. But then developers tend to throw that at people and then let them try to figure it out on their own. And you get wheel spin, just a lot of tossing and turning about what they should be doing with it. And I think we're going to still see a lot of that this year. But I think as the MCP and a lot of the tooling that comes up, it will help business owners kind of take a step back and say, look, I want to be more productive. How do I get to the real thing?
Wow. Okay, man, we went around the bend and back again and all sorts of stuff. Anything about some of the things that maybe traditionally small businesses don't look at, but maybe you are, or maybe you think more small businesses, the hiring or the announcement of the new Fed chief. I know the current one, my buddy Jerome, is, he acts a certain way. He's more averse to these quicker interest rate cuts because he's afraid of, inflation and unemployment, all that kind of stuff. Whereas our president wants to fire the guy. So he definitely does not like what this guy has done. He's going to put in somebody different with a different philosophy. How important is it as a small business person for you to be aware of, who's of the Fed chief? How are they aligned with, the president or the administration? Because these guys can do certain things that can really hugely impact your small business. So how aligned or how informed or how interested are you in stuff like that?
Yeah, I think my 2 cents, I think me personally, I'm very interested. I'm a political animal, very political, as you all know, talking behind the scenes and stuff. But I think that for the average small business, most of them know where they're going to vote anyhow. 48, the country's divided. So I don't think you need to know it. I don't think it's important if I had to say yes or no. But to answer the question, if you were asking also, what do I think about the appointment? Honestly speaking, as a partisan person, having fun here, but I hope the Fed chairperson he selects is measured, maybe not as measured as Jerome, but I hope he is measured, sane, not back and forth, rabble-rousing. We don't want him cheering and demonstrating. We want a quiet, librarian-focused, soft-mannered, thoughtful person who thinks of things. You get what I'm saying? A Jerome-esque person, I think that's a perfect demeanor. But no, if he has a different philosophy, I just trust the powers that be on the economic scale, but I'd be curious what other people think of that.
I'll be honest, I'm always a little afraid of what Trump does, frankly, to be quite honest with you, but I try not to say that out loud. I honestly, I agree with Ramon. If you gotta be open to the idea that the person being appointed to that level is going to be level-headed. I like the librarian image, Ramon. That's a good one. That's a mic drop as far as
especially for the Fed chair role. That's what I mean. Everybody else can be low, whatever, but the Fed chair, based on what I see, go ahead, here, that we want them.
Yeah, you have to have it, and I think that's all. The reason why I put an asterisk on it is that's also, and I won't get too political about it, but that's also been the problem sometimes with this administration is that they look for rabble rousers rather than really looking at a position and saying, look, this needs to not be politicized in any way, shape, or form, and Trump has not quite understood that, and it's kind of inexcusable at a second administration. But I'll say this, and my concern also is what sort of pushback or remedy would be in place if somebody turns out to be that much more of a rabble rouser rather than a Jerome, and that part needs to be of worry. I think for small business owners, I think business owners in general are just cautious people and are trying to be open to a change, but they know that if something doesn't work out the way it should, the question becomes, how do you push back? And I think that's the part where there's a little bit of hand wringing. I'll leave it there.
When it comes to that position, I think that there can be an element of overcaution. And I think that Jerome kind of teeters into that a little bit, to where he's just like, well, it's like a person who's got their hand burnt on the stove because he was the Fed chair during this massive inflation and issues where he did have to, and it wasn't over the course of like years, it was over the course of months, raise the interest rate to a degree to where it became really hard for the average person to buy a home or a small business to get a small business loan. All of a sudden, you're starting to see, well, just a year ago, I could have gotten a $200,000 house or a $300,000 house for half of a monthly payment, and then all of a sudden it's doubled. And so I kind of wonder if he's, he put his hand on the stove, he got burned a little bit, and he's like, no, I want to be a little extra cautious here. And to me, I would want someone that's not been burned, who may be willing to take a little bit of a chance, because I would love to be able to see my friends and family be able to get cheaper loans for their houses. I would love to be able to see small business owners be able to get cheap rates for their small business loans. And that's the ultimate thing that I would love to be able to see. And I think that, yes, there are going to be inherent risks with that, but there are also really good benefits, especially to the average person and the average small business owner.
Anybody else?
Yeah, there's a difference between building a foundation and short-term gain, right? Like if you think the next 3 years, and then laying a foundation for that, if you are not following good fiscal policy and you agree that lowering interest rate is the best, I'm sure everybody on this call short-term will say, this is really great. My car is going to cost less. My business is going to cost less. My home loan is going to cost less. But if you think this decade and the next decade, the economy now doesn't have any checks and balances. The next person is going to come and they're going to do exactly the same thing. This is not isolated here. Like, you can see these examples throughout the world in countries where there's not good fiscal responsibility. They all have loans that they can never pay for probably 2 centuries. I don't know what's going to happen there. And they can be bankrupt, right? Some of these countries. I think I wish the new person the best, and hopefully he'll keep the country in mind for decades and not just for the next 3 years.
I think even we haven't heard from you on that one.
I don't know if you want to hear from me.
We always want to hear from you.
I do, for sure. Come on, Ivana, give the support we need.
We're waiting.
When my son was little and we would have these conversations about what we're going to do on a particular day, he would say, I don't want to. And I would say, you're under the mistaken impression that you have a say in this matter. And I think everyone who is, the 68, 90% of the population is under the mistaken impression that you have a say in the matter. Our economy is optimized for drama, clicks, and profits for owners. Your experience does not matter. Otherwise, they wouldn't be taking AI and replacing customer service with it, right? You wouldn't be going to see your doctor and seeing a nurse practitioner. You would, I can just, like, the list can just go on and on. You just go through your life. So I'm going to say you're under the mistaken impression that this economy is optimized even for small business owners who take home an average of 200, if they're lucky, who take home approximately $60,000 a year. So nothing is optimized for you.
So should they care or not?
Should they care? You're already in debt. And now, so like, are they going to reduce interest rates? Right? Great. What? Go into more debt? I don't know. I don't know the answer. As I keep saying, I'm generally confused. I don't understand. All I can say is entrepreneurs and small business owners, God bless all of us, are an optimistic bunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Breaking news: he has nominated Kevin Warsh.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was earlier today. Yeah.
Yeah,
Does that mean anything to anybody here?
I still need to look that up.
an
But
American
like I said, expect
financer.
drama. Expect drama.
An American financer and bank executive who served as a member of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors from 2006 to 2011.
Okay,
I feel good. That's not bad. Come on, even.
let's hope yeah, I too pray for librarian, because that's what I want in a financial person. I want the personality of a brick wall. This is what I want.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one.
I want insanely anally retentive with the personality of a brick wall and the mind like a steel trap that says, even though you have not filled out your like quarterly blah blah blah.
I agree.
That was a serious mic drop moment right there. I love that because I feel I love when I don't really know these guys by name, because they're like what Even is talking about. They have no personality. They know their stuff, and they don't want the spotlight.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound like the folks that we've been getting lately.
Yeah.
And you know, I keep saying to people, I thought the mic drop was you're under the mistaken impression that this economy is designed for you. It is not.
You could have multiple mic drops.
No, that's not a mic drop. No.
But
You
that
know,
thing you
like
said
the mic
about
drop.
what the thing you said about what you want in a Fed, that's the mic drop for me.
Okay,
Because quite honestly, I
your
want
mic
that.
drop. I was convinced that hey, all you small business people and marketing, whatever. This is why we do market research, right? Because you think that you know, but you don't know. You
I
don't
do.
know.
Actually, I do. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Ask Ramon.
And why don't we end on the wise words of our favorite Amber Donald? She agrees with Madam Mike Drop. God help and bless all citizens and entrepreneurs of small businesses.
Ooh, that's nice.
Keep that
There you
optimism
go, Amber.
going.
From
I
sea
just-
to
seriously.
shining sea.
Yeah.
Keep it going. We need it.
And on that note, we will see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Stay warm if you can. I mean, it's going to be tough, but
Bye.
we'll see you next week.